Finally, my iPad mini 6 has arrived. And today I'm going to unbox, probably badly, and give you my first full impressions of this tablet, and also let you know how this is going to fit into my life. Hello, welcome back to Ellis Reviews, and thank you for subscribing if you have. If you haven't subscribed, you know where that button is. So on Friday last week, I received my iPhone 13 mini. Spoiler, I love this phone already. Part of the reason is how it performed during a night hike up Snowdon in North Wales this weekend just gone. I've written about that on my blog. I'll put a link to that in the description. But yeah, I love this little phone. But the other side of this story is what lies in this box, which is the brand new iPad mini. Now, I ordered this for a very, very specific reason. Not just to review it, although I do that because I want you guys to know what I think about it, but it actually is going to play a very important role in my life and in my business. I'll get onto what role that is later, but first, let's get this open. Now, a quick caveat before I get started, I'm not very good at unboxings. If you've seen my iPhone 13 mini unboxing or any of the very few unboxings I've done in the past, you'll know that I forget to talk about things that are in the box. I make a stupid joke about the Apple stickers normally. Basically, I just want to get this thing out of here, and it just makes sense to film it. People do unboxings, but you will see better unboxings elsewhere. I've been waiting for this new iPad mini for absolutely ages. Part of the reason is I love the old iPad mini. I think it's a fantastic form factor. It's just, well, the old one, the outgoing one, it's just an old design. You know, it's got the big bezels. It's just old. It made no sense in my mind to buy the iPad mini 5. I thought out of all the iPads, the mini really deserved that redesign with the thinner bezels, Touch ID somewhere else basically, and just that nice iPad squared off design. And crucially, I wanted it to be compatible with this, the second generation Apple Pencil, which is the best Apple Pencil. Now, I'm going to shut up and carry on unboxing because someone told me off for taking ages to get to the unboxing on the iPhone 13 mini. Apologies. So here we go. I still love Apple's packaging. I think it's great. It makes the entire thing a bit of an event really. And yeah, it's just a fun thing to do, opening an Apple product. So let's get into the boring outer packaging. Like that, immediately, you can see there, it kind of lifts the box up to make it easier to get out. There we go, and that is the iPad mini box. Now, like a few other people that I know, I didn't realise this actually says mini. I thought it was just a nice scribbling. The Everyday Dad mentioned this as well, so I'm totally with him on this. He shouldn't feel silly. I didn't realise that said mini either. It does. Here we go. This is the only bit where you make a bit of a mess with this cellophane stuff, but there we go. Now, in terms of the mini I went for the base level, 64 gig version. That was it. I didn't bother getting the upgraded storage. You can either go for 64 or 128. I think given that the iPhone 13 now comes with 128 as standard, I think it's a bit daft that you don't get the same deal with this really. I think this should come with 128. It's weird that it goes from 64 to 256. Why is there no 128? And why is 64 gig the base storage? Seems a bit mean when you bear in mind this was £479. Not an inconsequential amount of money. I think it should make sense to have the same storage, base level storage as the iPhone. Rant over. Let's get into this. Here we go. So this is the iPad mini I have been waiting for what feels like an eternity. It's here. It's actually here. So lift it out very carefully. Now, before I forget, because I did forget with the iPhone 13 mini unboxing, let's have a look at what is in the rest of the box because it's a bit boring and we can get that out of the way. So, first thing is this great big pack that they give you, which has, lo and behold, an instruction manual I'll never read. Something there. What else have we got? This is the only bit, Apple, that is very difficult to get into. I've always had this problem. I try and pull that and nothing comes out. You just end up ripping it and creating more mess. Anyway, oh, here we go. 2 Apple stickers, guys. 2 Apple stickers, which I'll never use. There we go. And that's it in there, I think. It feels like there's something else in there. Waste of packaging. Anyway, we do have, because it's an iPad and not an iPhone, we do get a charging brick, which is nice, actually. I've got lots of these, but it's nice that they still give you these in the iPad box. And of course, the piece de la resistance, dreadful pronunciation, sorry, is the USB-C charging cable. As we know, the iPad mini 6 is USB-C, which is just the best thing ever. The iPhone mini 13 isn't, which is the most annoying thing ever. That is it. There's nothing else in this box. Box is finished with, which brings us neatly on to the iPad. And very first impressions on the size of this device itself. It is wonderful. This is what I've been waiting for. So again, it's not, I think it's roughly the same footprint-ish as the outgoing design, the outgoing iPad mini. So it's this kind of one-handed thing where you can pick it up like this with one hand. I don't have big hands, so it's, you know, this is quite a good test for it really. That feels very comfortable. That is what I love. The idea of having this with the pencil, making notes, brilliant. Let's get into it. Here we go. So this is the cleanest and most pristine this iPad will ever be. I like that moment when you just know it will never look this good ever again. I kind of like it, and it's a bit sad as well, but there you go. So let's get into it. Now, I went with Starlight as the colour, which you can see here. And I did the exact same thing with my iPhone. And I was a bit confused with the iPhone in a nice way, because as I pointed out during my video, it is just a white phone. So the iPhone 13 in Starlight is white. And it is actually white. The bit that isn't white is the band around the side, which you can see there. This bit here it's not gold, but there's like a fleck of gold in there. And that is the bit, I think, which is the Starlight bit, I guess. So what's interesting is that on the Starlight iPad mini, basically the band colour on the iPhone is what you get pretty much on the rear of the iPad mini device. So it's not a glass back, so it's not white. That would have been nice. I think if this was a white glassed back, it would have been pretty special, I think. As a result, it is actually just quite nice. It's all right. It looks silver, really. There's definitely, like I say, a bit of a goldish type tint in there. No, it looks all right. Let's shut up and get the rest of this stuff off, shall we? Here we go. There we are. The iPad mini in Starlight. Lovely one-handed use. This is the first iPad mini to ever have a camera bump, which you can see here. It's due to a better camera system, obviously. Now, the camera is, let me just remind myself, it's the ultra-wide, no it's not, sorry, ignore that. That's the front-facing camera. It is a 12 megapixel f1.8 camera. I'll be testing it to a degree. I'm not an iPad photographer, I'm not one of those people, so I won't be using it that much, but it'll be interesting to see what the images are like. So first impressions, I'm going to enjoy this. One of the downsides of being a YouTuber is the fact that you don't always enjoy unboxings because you're concentrating too much on filming them. So I want to enjoy this for a minute, if you don't mind. Just talk amongst yourselves. Yeah, I've waited so long for this, and I keep saying this, but I've waited so long for this iPad. It's here now, and it's wonderful. It's just everything I'd hoped in terms of the size. Apple Pencil version 2, lovely. That's one of the big things for this because I want this to be a note-taking device. And that brings me on to the use case for this iPad. So when I ordered the iPhone 13 mini, the one big concern I had, apart from the battery life, which I'm going to test, is the size of the screen. I was worried that the size of the screen would be too small for everyday use. And I use my iPhone, in terms of anything beyond phone type stuff, I use it for surfing the web and doing little bits of email and stuff while I'm on the sofa downstairs. My worry has been that the iPhone 13 mini is going to be too small for that. So my idea, my brilliant genius idea, was to go mini all round. So to get the iPhone 13 mini, but in addition to that, get the iPad mini as well. And the idea with that would be that it would become my casual web surfing device. So if I'm on the sofa downstairs doing some, like I say, maybe some email, very kind of simple email triage, or just looking on the web for stuff, then rather than picking up the iPhone, I will pick up this because it's so small, portable, and just immediately available. Now, when I first opened the iPhone 13 mini, I was pleasantly surprised by the size of the screen. It didn't feel as small as I thought it was going to be. So my kind of thoughts around this have changed slightly since then. But I'm still going to stick with that idea. I'm going to stick with the idea of the iPhone being my phone, and the iPad mini being my kind of, I suppose, consumption content consumption device, really. And the other key thing with this, there's two other uses for it. The other one is note taking, which I mentioned a moment ago. I want to transition pretty much completely from written notes on pen and paper to this. I want to make this my main note taking device. Whether or not that's possible, I'm not sure. I'm in two minds about this. I'm looking forward to seeing if I'm being a little bit ambitious with that, but I'm hoping that the form factor and the Pencil 2 support will make this a brilliant note-taking device. I will update my thoughts on that later on. But the other thing I'm going to do with this is make it my main photo editing device. Now, for the last probably 2 or 3 months, I've actually been using the great big iPad 12 point. The size of this is the 2018 iPad Pro 12.9-inch version. That's the mini. Look how different these devices are. Ridiculous. But anyway, I've been using this, like I say, over the last 2 or 3 months as my main photo editing device. And I use Lightroom on it with the pencil, and all of the thumbnails that I create for these YouTube videos and all the images I create for my blog, I've been editing on this. So I shoot them on my Canon 5D Mark III, put the raw file into Lightroom and use Lightroom Mobile on this to edit them. And it's fantastic. I love doing it. The screen's great for it. However, it's a bit big still. So I saw someone else on YouTube the other day using the new iPad Mini 6 as a Lightroom photo editing device, and it looked brilliant. Actually, they were sat there on the settee editing their photos. I like the idea of that. Again, in practice, I may decide the screen's too small, who knows, but just knowing that the screens themselves on iPads are fantastic in terms of color reproduction, etc. I'm hoping that alone is going to make this just a nice portable photo editor. So as always, I will keep you updated on all of those use cases, and I will return with a full review of this pretty soon. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, and you will not miss that video. I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing video. I do like doing unboxings. It can be a bit of a laugh, but I'm not very good at them, so apologies if it was a bit of a mess. But I'd love to know, have you bought the iPad Mini 6? And if so, how do you intend to use it? I'm fascinated by the use cases that people have for this iPad. During Apple's launch event, we saw pilots using it, people working out on building sites using it, all sorts of really interesting use cases for this tiny little iPad. How are you going to use it? Let me know in the comments. Now, if you still have some time, then keep watching for a link to my iPhone 13 mini unboxing and first impressions video. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll catch you next time.